Hello, everyone. We are live. It is Sunday. It is time for our Sunday mic check. And joining me via
The
via
internet,
something,
via the internet.
the grand
Don't
wizard,
say grand wizard or anything.
the esteemed Reverend
I
Alan
almost used
O'Brien.
wizard the other day, and I was like, you know what? That's really unfortunate. I probably shouldn't be using that word, just because it's the KKK or whatever. Grand wizard, great wizard. But I did that in our private chat, and I was about to type it, and I was like, oh, wow, man, I've got a long way to go from the pinball wizard, And
Right.
Anyway, it's good to see everybody. So glad I'm here this morning. Made it just under the wire. Yeah, I was busy. The reason I'm a little bit late behind the scenes is that I was busy watching Confederate monuments being taken down by crowds set to the music of Enya. It was very relaxing. If you want to heighten your consciousness this morning, I'm telling you, this is the video to watch.
That's quite the combination. I don't know
who put it together, but God bless them.
That's very interesting. Welcome. We have someone joining us. If you're joining us, go ahead and say hi in the chat. We want to hear from you, find out how your week was going. Check in, a mic check, so to speak.
Or just watch without saying anything. You can remain anonymous.
You can, but that would break our hearts a little bit.
We support you. Jeff and I don't agree on everything.
We don't. We don't. But it ebbs and flows. The percentage of things we agree and disagree on.
Yeah, it changes over time. I was just saying, for those of you who just came on, I was busy watching monuments being torn down, set to the music of Enya. So what I remember Enya for is I had a teacher when I was in school, because I'm a young fellow, and we would take tests, and she would play Enya in the background while we were taking tests. It was very relaxing.
Oh, I would have hated that.
So like accessing that relaxed learning space in my brain, watching Confederate monuments being taken down was beautiful. Yeah,
I'd rather hear some metal to go with that, just to fit the rebelliousness of the moment.
Right. It's so weird that's even rebellious. Like, I'm trying to really wrap my brain around. I guess I haven't. Maybe I just exist in an echo chamber, but I don't know anybody who's like, defending leaving up monuments like that. I haven't really run into anyone.
I've seen some around. I think I wonder. I just think that we have more of a history, a visual history of seeing that. Since 9/11, at least, we have more of a visual history of seeing that in other countries where you're toppling a dictatorship. So I know that there are certain people that feel like, unwarranted, of course, but feel like you're erasing our history and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, Germany doesn't have a statue of Hitler. Like, these things are, it's very, I saw something the other day, and I haven't fact checked it. Alan, you'd probably know better, but I saw someone said,
I know all the facts.
There we go. So Alan's my fact checker. The Confederacy was only 5 years long. Like,
I think that might be true. Yeah.
Like, my favorite TV shows lasted longer than that. Like, that's not. It's such a blip for something to be.
Yeah. I'm not from the South, so I don't know, but I will tell you, and this just goes to show. When I was in high school, there was a teacher who was like junior high and high school. There was a teacher who was talking very lovingly about the Confederate flag and encouraging us to kind of like own that. So I mean, this conversation like is prescient all over the place. But seeing and you know what, I know that it's just a symbolic. Not just. I know that it is a symbolic gesture to take down Confederate statues, right? Like, there's more work to be put in after that, but that moment is so powerful for me to just watch it and receive it. And then I started to think about, well, what is the symbolic power of putting them up in the first place? Of course, there is a symbolic power with that because of the people who are defending it. And then I started to think about, like, well, what kind of power is that, and what does that do to our whole society to put up stuff and memories like that? What's up, Janelle?
Janelle, welcome to the Sunday mic check. We're talking Confederate flag. Good morning, everyone.
Before coffee. Heck yes, doing the good work. Like we said, stretching and growing is the new normal. Yeah, this morning I was drinking coffee. I drove out to a place where I could see Mount Shasta and all the different mountains, and just feeling the beautiful morning, and just really glad that I'm here, get to continue and see everyone. So good morning, everybody. Those of you who are watching, you are, like I said this morning, beautiful contradictions, walking paradoxes. Oxymoron is your human birthright. It's so good to be in this huge human family with you, working on all the good-ish in the world. Living in the South, yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine, Janelle, living in the South would be a very interesting time. Alan, going back to what you were just saying, it brings me great joy to see you happy about paradox. I just want to put that out there.
That's my growing edge. I actually ran into that. I can't really remember. I don't remember what year it was, but I do know for a fact that it was before 2013, so maybe 2011 or so. I watched Up to Speed with Speed Levitch, and yeah, there's a GIF that talks about walking contradictions. It was really beautiful.
I'm sure we could show GIFs on here. GIFs.
Yeah.
I say
GIFs.
I think that shows my age, right?
Yeah. I fought that battle for a real long time before I gave in and just started saying GIF. Because I know it's like graphics or whatever, interchange format, whatever it's called. Anyway, I watched Up to Speed with Speed Levitch. He's this like New York tour guide, and he takes tours of the most monumentally ignored monuments and goes through, and like it's just really fun. And at one point he says oxymoron is our human birthright, and it hit me like a tidal wave. Like in that moment I realized that I held other people to standards. Like I always tried to, like, I don't even know, maybe it's just like built into me from childhood, but trying to hold everybody else accountable and make them consistent, and then realizing like human beings change all the time, and I'm changing all the time. And how much cooler is it to engage each other as like we're just changing constantly, and
right.
being surprised by the way your partner has changed, or being surprised by the way that you've been changed. So much life is so short, and it's such a much more beautiful world to think that like I don't even know myself that well, and every single day I get the chance to learn more about myself. So
true.
Sorry to go Mr. Rogers on everybody, but that's like
wondrous mood today.
I'll
counter that with Janelle. I like the screenshot. This is like a good banner to have. Jeff is right. Maybe that should be my new Twitter handle. No, I believe it is a hard G. Jeff is a peanut butter, not a. Wow.
You know what? Do you know what I've realized? More important to be understood and in community than to be right. You know that, Jeff?
It's true, but it feels better to be right.
Yeah. Who of those watching who loves to be right? Who grew up the good kid like me, and just like has this addiction to always making sure that you're always right constantly, and feel shame when you're wrong? Where are my fellow good kids at? Former good kids. This is your chance to embrace your own contradictions, to let yourself be human. How great is that? Such a beautiful morning.
Man, Alan, what did you take this morning?
there are and so this is what I've been thinking about all week. There are really hard, important things happening right now, and the more I can tap into like sources of strength and power to keep those things going, which includes like letting go of shame, embracing being a learner, being curious, like the more I can really tap into compassion and grace for myself and for other people, the more I can do all the hard work of thinking through the ways I need to change and the way that the world needs to change. That's yeah. So anyway, that's the road I'm on right now this morning.
Alyssa, thank you. You also want to be right. Shannon, it depends on whom I'm arguing. With my husband, I need to be right. We'll get into some marital spats there, having to be right. I
I've
don't need to be right. I just always am. Like, it's a burden, really.
It's a superpower and a burden. I guess what I discovered a long time ago is that like, you know what, when little kids, I've said this on the podcast over and over, you know, when little kids are learning languages, they can learn a lot quicker. This is my running theory for myself. Maybe I'm wrong, and if you're a linguist or an etymologist or something, you can correct me. I think kids learn languages faster and better because they don't hold on to the shame of being wrong. They don't get stuck, you know? It's like, oh, I was wrong about that. I'll just use a different word for that. And then for people like me, and for, you know, when we become adults, we're so attached to our images, to what other people think of us, to us being right, that it's like this weight of shame when we're wrong. And so instead of just moving on and doing something different, we like linger in that space of shame. So taking all of that energy that goes towards shame and trying to invest it in like growing and learning and being curious, I think that's what we all should be doing, or could be doing at the very least. And now everybody's leaving the the stream because I'm talking about little kids learning languages.
It's okay.
Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Richard. I try not to call too many people out when they log in, because this one time I logged.
You're looking on the actual Facebook interface, right?
Yeah,
I don't see all that stuff. I just see when people comment.
Oh, okay.
On this interface.
Yeah. So
Shannon says yes. This is also true for learning in general. You can see the difference between kindergartners and high schoolers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alan can confirm. My nephew, I'm assuming, is 4 and trilingual. Trilingual, dang.
That's pretty cool.
I'm very bad with languages. Very bad. I think I've taken a total of 4 years of Spanish between high school and college, and I still can't do it. I just learned to roll my R's like a year and a half ago. So
what a more beautiful world it's become, Jeff.
I know.
Stepping outside of yourself. And yeah, I had to, never mind. I don't need to talk about any of that. I was in a very not diverse space growing up in the town I grew up in. That's an understatement, but I was Spanish club president, and I I went to my youth pastor when I was in high school, and I was like, hey, they're offering AP Spanish, you know, and AP chemistry at the same time. Which one do I take? I was really conflicted. And he told me that I should take languages, and I really am so glad I did. Because
I thought you were going with another direction with that story.
A different direction?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
I was thinking something else. I was thinking you were going to get like, well, you know, this is America. This is America, and you should stick with chemistry. But I guess for white evangelicals, the dilemma between foreigners and science is really difficult. So
yeah, there was. Wow, Jeff, going hard on evangelicals this morning. Jeez, no, we all. Anyway, I went on to study Greek and Hebrew and things like that. So I'm really glad that I chose to learn languages, and I've made a lot of friends in different countries who, you know, helped me to step outside of my own perspective, and that's worth all the time and energy in the world.
I just think languages, for me, the traditional education just didn't work. I think there was just another way I need to learn to really click. For some reason, it just never. I've always had a hard time with it.
School of hard knocks for you.
Yeah. So I didn't pursue it because I didn't want to be wrong.
See, what about bringing it around? See, you got to let go of shame, man. You have to be willing to be embarrassed a little bit. Yeah, that's something that like you have to really embrace to learn other languages and stuff. What about everyone else? What have you learned in your life? What did you pursue in terms of classes that really mattered to you? Or I don't know if that's a weird question, but you know, I'm only on here for like 15 minutes, so I'm getting all the good questions in that I can. Is that Rajiv? Did he log in for just a second? Man,
you're calling people out who want to remain anonymous.
I know. So that's what I was about to say. One time I went accidentally into a friend I was scrolling through, and there was a friend selling clothes when that was like first starting out. like a couple years ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I popped in at like, I don't even know, 9 or 10 at night. I started watching. I was like, I don't know what this is. This is really interesting. And they were like, oh, hi, Alan O'Brien. And I was like, oh my God. And then I went to school with you. It was so embarrassing and fun. So I'll try not to call everybody out as you join, but I will call Rajiv out. It's good to see your name, Rajiv.
Shannon, I didn't care for language classes in high school, but fell in love with sign language in college and took classes and did well. My wife did the same thing. She loved that. She took, I think, maybe three years of that, and she taught our daughters that when they were young, which was super helpful. So before they could talk, we could know if they wanted more of something, if they wanted food. Like, it was super helpful. And then my wife learned a lot taking those classes, and I'm sure Shannon, you did as well, as to what kind of that there's a lot of really it's a culture and a community among people who are hearing impaired, and that there's a lot to learn there, not just about the language, but the people. And she really found it fascinating and developed some good relationships through that. It's amazing what links us and brings us together.
Mm-hmm. What kind of are you still drinking out of your community cup?
I have my community cup. This is actually I'll
is it entirely too blasé to have, or like passé to have a podcaster talk about their coffee mug?
No, not if we're live. We're not podcasting right now. Technically, we're live streamers.
We're mic checking everybody. We're mic checking. So show me your coffee mug.
If anyone in the comment knows what this is from,
gigantic.
It is gigantic. That's the only way to drink coffee. Anyone can tell me what this is from. I will.
That's from a TV show.
I will send you some. It is from a TV show.
I think I know what it is.
What is it?
Is it from Chuck?
The Chuck Cup. Yep. You got it right at the same time.
I watched literally 2 episodes of that show. Only 2. That's it.
It's one of the shows I watched through a couple times. Although the last time I watched it, I still like it a lot, and there's a lot that it does that's fun to subvert, like the whole spy genre, but it also leans heavily into the male gaze aspect of the spy genre, and it didn't. I wouldn't say it didn't age well, but I would say that it teeters in some episodes where you're just kind of like, eh.
Frankly, there's a lot about misogyny and white supremacy that's just not aging well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I had a hard time the last time I went through watching The Office before, like just even last year I went through The Office, and I was like, this whole show is just an apology for an insensitive white man to have as many chances as possible. And I was just like, it did not sit well with me. Not as bad as other shows that I've rewatched, but yeah, I think that Steve Carell was wise in saying that this is probably not the day and age that we reboot The Office, because the Michael Scott character is a thing of the past.
Well, for entertainment purposes, maybe.
I don't know.
There's plenty of Steve Carell's out there. There's plenty of Michael Scotts out there.
Yeah, but I've worked for real Michael Scotts, and it's not as funny in real life.
Right. Yeah.
Not funny at all.
I was just having this morning. I'm always thinking about random things every morning and coming across all sorts of exciting stuff to think and talk about. This morning, I kind of got lost into a little spiral of people talking about sharing their salaries as coworkers. And there used to be all these, actually there still are, there's all these company policies across our country where coworkers are told that they're not allowed to share their salaries with other coworkers. They can't talk about how much they make. And we talk about it as like being good etiquette or whatever, but really the reason they do that is they don't want people to like unionize or like share information and then realize, oh, someone's getting underpaid because, right. And then I read all these stories of these women who were like, yeah, I found out there was 2 coworkers that I had that were doing less work than me, and I had consistently better numbers, had been there longer, more experience, and was making 25% less. And so like sharing information like that, there is actually a federal law, from what I can tell, that says no company is allowed to punish one of their workers for talking about their salary with other coworkers. Like that's a federal law since the 30s, but all these companies still write into their descriptions and their policies that you're not allowed to talk about your salary. So there's stuff I never thought about, like I like learning what justice looks like inside of so many areas, jobs and all sorts of stuff. I feel like there's a really wide world out there, WIDE. I got to stop saying that. Wide world out there. So many things to learn.
It's true.
I was just born yesterday and I got a little bit of time to figure some stuff out. So it's exciting.
Shannon, in response to that, really interesting. Sharing salary law, it definitely is to protect the company. Absolutely. I mean, how many laws are really to protect people? Totally illegal to prevent discussing salaries.
That's right, Jenny. It's totally illegal to prevent that. But there's all these people in the comment section I'm reading who are saying their current companies have it on policy and they just put it in their policies, even though it's illegal and they can't enforce it. So there's such a wide range of like flexibility around, something's a law, but how do you enforce it? Something's a law. Whose birthday is it? It's my birthday.
Michelle, whose birthday is it?
I think it's actually Trump's birthday.
Well, I hope that we're not.
Maybe. I don't know. I know that.
Sometimes we do in the comments, at least the interface that I'm looking at, not all the comments, and it actually happens on Facebook as well. We don't see all the comments. So if there's happy birthday posts, let us know so we can acknowledge the proper person. Janelle, all the companies telling people they can't post where they work if they're posting BLM things. I know Starbucks had a little bit of a, I mean, that's just another reason not to go to. Oh, Jenny, you're in HR and constantly have to remind managers of this. Wow. HR, man, what a thankless job. Good on you, Jenny. I mean,
speaking of the office.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I mean, gosh, what a difficult position to be in, I'm sure. It was your friend John's birthday 2 days ago.
Very nice.
We'll shout out to him.
Happy birthday,
John.
Happy birthday to everybody else today. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's right. Well, most everyone else. I mean, you did mention someone's birthday.
No, I'm saying everyone, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some people are calling it. Anyway, that's really, really fascinating.
Yeah, everything's fascinating right now. Too many things are fascinating.
I know.
Oh, well, being an HR, I can't imagine watching The Office because I mean, Toby's the HR person, right? And
Toby was consistently my favorite character by far. I related with probably related with Andy the most, to be honest, out of everyone. But
really, Andy was the one you related to the most.
Yeah, he's all sappy and he's like always and makes a fool of himself constantly. I feel like he's mine.
I don't know. That's interesting. I want to think about that.
Shannon,
what did Starbucks do? Did not allow BLM posts? No, they actually. Well, at first they told their employees that they could not wear BLM, like anything like a button or anything clothing wise while they were working. But they reversed that. Under
Toby's the worst. Don't say that.
Trigger for me, Jenny. I know, that's what I'm saying. If you worked in HR, Toby is the worst, and I would feel I would be offended personally if someone was representing my field.
I love how human Toby is.
I think they started him out sympathetic, but later they kind of leaned into Michael Scott being right about Toby.
Oh, right.
The way that they wrote the character. I mean, they essentially insinuate.
That's what I meant about human. That's what I meant by human. He's fallible at the end. He's, he starts doing things for personal reasons.
But the most convincing theory of Toby is that he was actually the Scranton Strangler.
Right.
Like, have you seen those videos? Like, and the evidence is there. And I just think that I feel you, Jenny. I wouldn't want to be represented that way.
Kat, your wife, Jeff, she was right way before I came around, she was like, I can't watch this show.
Yeah.
It's like, something's wrong with you, Kat. And then now I'm like, okay, she was right. I was wrong.
I can still I think I can still watch it, but I have to, like, certain episodes I can't watch anymore. Like the early episodes, like the race.
Oh, yes, Michelle. Yeah, okay. I said I was born yesterday. This is my birthday. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Michelle.
There we go.
Yeah, the timing for us on this end is like delayed or whatever. yeah, I mean, and this morning is my birthday. It's a brand new day.
Happy
Chance
birthday.
to remake yourself. Happy birthday, Alan. I think
Happy
that's what I'm
birthday,
gonna
Alan.
say. I have to go, and I'm gonna go be with my people at our church coffee hour. But it's so good to see all of you. Cat, Cat, you were right. I'm sorry. You've known me since I was 19. People change. Okay.
There it is, right there.
Wonderful. You're
We have
right,
it
Cat.
documented forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Every good thing I know came from Cat. That's just what I'll say. That might not be too far off either.
Might not be.
All right, I'll see you all soon.
All right, Alan signing out.
Peace.
We'll see you. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Well, everyone, hope everyone else is doing well. It's just us now. I don't know if anyone else is going to pop in. How we work this is I bring in the link and anyone can pop in at any time. But Sunday mornings, everyone else is pastors on the deal. So Janelle, the Manilities both get I am right shirt. It's true. It's true. We are equally right in all things. That is great. So how's everyone else doing? Anything else happening with your week? It's been a busy week for me, at least. I mean, my areas aren't starting to open up, so my job is picking up. I've been really into. I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but I've been really into this app called Letterboxd, and basically it's an app for movies where your whole social media interaction is Shannon off to virtual church. Tell Pastor Casey I said hello and that he's amazing. Have a wonderful day. But this app, it's like, you just list the movies you've watched and you rate them, and it's kind of I've been on more of like a TV show kick lately, so I kind of started watching movies more, and it's fun. I'm having a good time with it. Good reviews, fun place. How's everyone else doing? Just a reminder that we are going to be doing this. We're going to be dropping this every now and then, but for Sunday Mic Check, it doesn't always have to be Sunday Mic Check. We're keeping it like this through June. I think right now we're taking it month at a time, but if there's another time that you feel like would be good, we're open to as well. Yeah, so everyone's seems to be doing well, having a good time this morning. As you can tell, I do better when there's other people. I guess we're kind of in that mode. How many people are? I'm just gonna throw this out there. How many people are enjoying the whole virtual church thing? I'm sure many of you that are still in church are doing that. Are you participating more or less when it comes to that? I'm just curious for myself. Jamie Rudolph, Reverend Alan Barber preached at the Washington Cathedral this morning, and it was powerful. Oh wow! I hope that is available somewhere. I'm sure I can find it on YouTube, but I want to watch that. I love William Barber. He's wonderful. I'm gonna write that down actually because that sounds amazing. Janelle made a good friend, soul sister, this week. She's older than me. She is a little older than me, but we have parallel life journeys. So I've got my soul brother Alan and my soul sister Tracy now. Oh, that's awesome. That's wonderful when you find someone that can relate to your journey and all this stuff. It feels rare sometimes, depending upon our circumstances. But that's wonderful, Janelle. I'm happy for you. That's awesome. That is amazing. Yeah, relationships are a funny thing. Like I recently reconnected with some of my friends from youth group when I was in high school, and it was a wonderful time just to kind of get together. We all jumped on a live call and caught up, and it was nice to see us all roughly in the same direction. Janelle, less because I'm in final deconstruction phase, figuring out how much of the church was about in-person community and not about actual beliefs. Yeah. That's a really good point, is what is the church. And oh, thank you. Before I get back into that, thank you, Jamie. I will come back to this link and check it out. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. But yeah, the church is an interesting thing. I mean, I've worked up until last year professionally in the church for my entire adult life, and I've always been fascinated with how that works. And what is church, right? Is it about the in-person meeting? Because obviously we've had a large segment of people that have been very upset and feel something about not being able to meet, and some have equated it to the end times and the government telling you can't meet and all that kind of stuff. And then others are genuinely, they just miss their friends. And I personally have always seen the gathering more as just like a social thing, and that the worship aspects being less important. But that's me. I know that not everyone agrees with that, and I don't want to speak for anyone else on our show, but I'm sure that not all of us as co-hosts are on the same page with that particular thing. But yeah. Oh, so is anyone still attending a church? Has anyone's churches actually started meeting again? I'm curious about that as well. Feel free to put something in the comments about that. But I know it's an important thing for a lot of people, and I know that with a lot of, at least probably in more mainline traditions, there's a lot of churches that have older congregations, so being slower to reopen and gather again. But then that's also difficult too, because a lot of now everything's dependent on technology, which a lot of people don't have access to or don't have the knowledge to move through. Janelle, I've been finding the same valuable, authentic friendships I had in church in more powerful, authentic ways outside of church. That's interesting. How so? Do you just feel as though there's more connection, there's more desire to reconnect, to check in on each other? I'd be really curious to hear more about that. I find that I've just been doing more perusing, I guess. I'm more just fascinated on how different churches are handling this. So on Sunday morning, before and after, our Sunday mic check, I'll just scroll through, see the format, what people are doing, and there's a lot of variety of different ways that people are doing it. I'm wondering if this is going to put less emphasis on the actual like Sunday service, the Sunday gathering. And I know that the rhetoric of church a lot of times talks about it's about the people, it's about this, but in my practical experience, and this is just my experience working in churches, both in mainline traditions and evangelical traditions, that they can say that all they want, but it's really about Sunday morning. It was really always about the gathering and getting people there. And when you talked about numbers and attendance and all that kind of stuff, it was always through the lens of the Sunday morning gathering. And that's natural. I get it. I understand. But it's also not a true reflection, I guess. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's been a while. Well, a while. It feels like a while that I've been in a church setting where I have to be a part of those discussions and those decisions. And let me tell you, though, when you're on staff at a church and you speak up or try to suggest something about in any way that diminishes the Sunday morning service in the eyes of those that are in charge, it does not go over well. I can tell you that. Janelle, a lot of messaging back and forth that wasn't happening before, especially in my social circles and with my former Bible study class friends. Yeah. So yeah, I find that too, that there's a lot more checking in, a lot more seeing how people are doing. It's really interesting. So I wonder what this is going to do when things come back, and how I would imagine that for those first couple unfettered times together, no restrictions are going to be pretty powerful in some circles, just to have that experience again. I tend to express myself better in writing, so the messaging format tends to work really well for me. Oh yeah, that's true. I see that. Yeah. I'm the opposite though, Janelle. I'll tell you. That's the reason we even have a podcast right now, is because I refused to write a blog post for Alan when he started his blog. So I do much better speaking, but that's true. I think this has given people an opportunity to communicate and express themselves in ways that you can't in a church or even just a regular social setting. Communication is really interesting. I'm wondering if it's including a lot of people in the church life that felt anxiety or difficulty connecting in those ways, where in this way it's more on their playing field. I have a feeling there's going to be more a hybrid going forward with a lot of churches to really utilize these platforms and stuff. It's interesting. Well, it looks like we're winding down a little bit here with our Sunday mic check. So I hope everyone has a good week coming up. I hope that everyone is safe and well and taking care of yourself and those around you. Janelle, extremely awkward, not nearly as adorable and hilarious in person. I doubt that very seriously, but I know I understand the feeling that way. I feel that too. I don't know about you, but there's in many like social settings, I after will second guess myself for days sometimes. Oh, why did I say that? What was this? That was weird. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? Oh, Jamie, thank you so much. Of course, we really enjoy doing this, and thank you for participating. I really appreciate it. I really have come to enjoy this time a lot. I know that sometimes it's, depending upon your view of Facebook, it can be difficult. So, yes, and happy Pride Month, especially to Casey. Yes. So thank you everyone again for joining me here, and then thank you again for supporting the show with your listening and all that kind of stuff. You can always check out our latest episodes at the website irenicast.com. If you enjoy the work we do, we also have PayPal link if you'd like to donate, irenicast.com/PayPal. And our next episode is coming up. Our next episode is going to be really good. It's an interview that Casey and Bonnie did. That is really, there's a lot there, a lot to like listen and sit with, and it's really good. And looking forward to putting that one out, and then we'll follow up with continuing the conversation, and we'll keep things going. We're excited about the momentum of the show. So thank you again for joining us here, and I will see you next week, and then see you hopefully the Monday after that. So with that being said, take care and have a good day.